What if one man could secretly supply weapons to multiple war zones, move billions in military cargo, and stay ahead of global intelligence for nearly 2 decades? This is not fiction. This is the story of Viktor Bout, the man U.S. officials once called the Merchant of Death. How did he build his network? Who really enabled him? And why did it take so long to stop him? Tonight we follow the trail. In the chaos that followed the Cold War, when empires collapsed and weapons flooded the market, one man saw opportunity. While governments struggled to control their arsenals, he built an empire in the shadows. Cargo planes, fake companies, front businesses, secret routes across Africa, the Middle East, and Eastern Europe. His name was Viktor Bout. To some, he was a businessman. To others, he was the most dangerous arms dealer in the world. And for nearly 2 decades, he supplied weapons to some of the deadliest conflicts on Earth. This is the story of how one man turned global instability into profit. When the Soviet Union dissolved in 1991, it left behind something massive. Millions of weapons, thousands of aircraft, poorly guarded stockpiles, underpaid soldiers, weak oversight. Entire military warehouses became vulnerable. Aircraft once used by the Soviet military were suddenly available. Bout understood aviation logistics. He spoke multiple languages. He understood cargo routing. And most importantly, he understood chaos. He began acquiring transport aircraft, especially aging Antonov cargo planes. These planes could land on short, damaged runways, perfect for war zones. Building a network, Bout did not operate under one name. He created a web of shell companies. Airlines registered in Liberia, United Arab Emirates, Belgium, Central Asia. Planes would change registration frequently. Call signs would shift. Ownership papers would disappear. Cargo manifests were often falsified. Weapons declared as humanitarian supplies. Aircraft routed through friendly jurisdictions. He mastered one principle: plausible deniability. During the 1990s, global arms regulation enforcement was weak. The United Nations imposed embargoes on certain countries, but enforcement depended on national governments, border inspections, political will, and in many fragile states, oversight barely existed. Bout exploited this gap. Bout's aircraft were reportedly linked to supplying weapons during brutal African civil wars, conflicts fueled by the diamonds, oil, ethnic tensions, power struggles. Weapons shipments allegedly included assault rifles, rocket-propelled grenades, surface-to-air missiles. Arms flowed in, resources flowed out. Some investigations suggested diamonds were used as payment. Conflict became business. Tension reset line. But Africa was only one chapter. His network reached further. As global terrorism expanded in the early 2000s, scrutiny intensified. Bout was accused by U.S. authorities of attempting to supply weapons to groups designated as terrorist organizations. He denied these accusations. He maintained he was a legitimate transport businessman, but intelligence agencies began monitoring him more closely. In 2008, a turning point, U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration agents conducted a sting operation in Thailand. Undercover agents posed as representatives of a Colombian guerrilla group. They requested weapons, including anti-aircraft missiles. Authorities claimed Bout agreed to supply them. He was arrested in Bangkok. The arrest made global headlines. Russia opposed his extradition to the United States. Legal battles lasted years. Political tensions escalated. Finally, he was extradited to the US in 2010. In 2011, he was convicted in a US federal court. Sentence: 25 years in prison. In 2022, Bout was released as part of a high-profile prisoner exchange between the United States and Russia. Exchange involving Brittany Griner. The swap reignited debate. Was Bout truly the merchant of death? Or was his role exaggerated? Russia welcomed him back. Western officials criticized the exchange. The Bout story reveals something larger. Arms trafficking is not just about individuals. It thrives on corruption, weak governance, conflict economies, and geopolitical rivalries. Where war exists, supply chains emerge. Where sanctions exist, black markets grow. Today, global arms trafficking looks different. Cryptocurrency payments, drone technology, cyber networks, private military contractors. But the principle remains the same. Conflict creates demand. Demand creates suppliers. And somewhere in the shadows, logistics experts profit.
To others, he was the most
Viktor Bout's story is not simply about one man. It is about a world where instability becomes opportunity, where weapons move faster than diplomacy, and where the line between businessman and criminal becomes blurred in the fog of war. The question remains, has the system changed, or just evolved?
Subscribe for stories of leadership, power, and purpose.